My girlfriend and I, we bought $600 worth of weed.
Are you kidding? Damn.
No.
That's like what you pay when you're going to start dealing.
An ounce each.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
damn. That's a lot.
This in high school, my friends, they would buy an ounce of weed, and then you sell 7 of the 1/8 of the ounce, and then that pays for the 1/8 you smoke.
Nice. That's good economics.
That's a little tip for all the high school kids out there.
You were friends with smart businessmen.
That's just the way it is, you know.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you do it.
Well, I'm pretty happy that we lost that one episode. I gotta say, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, we lost the Vice Squad episode. We just have Adam's audio.
Yeah, and it's really good audio. There's a lot of good stuff in there, but it kind of just doesn't, without the context of what you're saying, it doesn't really have the same juice. You know?
Well, I didn't think it was a very good episode, but I did think the highlight was Adam's story about the time he met a hooker at a gas station, and she tried to have sex with him for money, and he turned her down, but then she asked for a ride, and he drove her to a hotel.
No, the ride was like the setup for her, you know, making money off of me. And I said no, but then she ended up getting money out of me anyway. So I just like drove her around and then gave her money and got nothing. That's bad economics. Off, right? Well, besides that, yeah. The old methy prostitute sucked me off besides that.
So you drove her to a John.
I don't know what that... Well, you want me to just tell the story again?
Yeah, let's hear the story. You drove her to a hotel.
No, I drove her to... Well, I drove her out into the boonies, like 10 minutes out, like where it's like there's no street lights or anything. It's like country shit. And there's a house there that was completely dark. And she got out and was like knocking on the windows and like looking in and be like, "Hey, you there?" And nobody was there. She came back. And she's like, "I guess nobody's there. Can you take me back?" Basically to where we came from. And so I was like, all right. And then I dropped her off at the Bambi Motel. And,
so,
yeah.
Don't you think she was meeting a John at that house?
No, the whole thing I think was I think the whole thing was a way to get her in my car where she can be like, "Hey, I'll, you know, tickle your balls or whatever." And but I didn't want to do that, so I just had to drive her and then drop her back off, basically. But maybe I was the John that would have gone into that house if she.
You're not the John. You're the Rube.
There's no Rube in the John sex worker relationship. There's not a third guy.
Okay. I got to break this down, so don't interrupt me like a million times like you normally do.
Okay. I'll try.
So, she would have had sex with you for money in the car. Okay. So she was not driving you to the house to have sex with you there. If she's staying at a hotel, she's not going to be living at that house. I'm assuming the guy in the house was either a John or a drug dealer.
Or like her pimp, right? Well, let me tell you... oh, wait, you didn't want me to interrupt. But
yeah.
I just want to say that like it felt like a show when she got out. And it felt like she was like doing a thing where it's like, obviously nobody's there. What are you doing? Let's just go. So, but continue, sorry. I don't want to interrupt your story about my experience.
It sounds like a really bad Red Dead Redemption 2 side mission.
Yeah.
It'd be like Arthur picked up a prostitute. He felt bad for her. She hits on him while he's giving her a ride.
Yeah, horseback.
And he says no. I mean, it would have been funny if it was me, I would have just driven away when she was at the house. There's no way she would have gotten back in my car.
Yeah, I know. Well, I mean, yeah, I guess. I was like taught, like helping out a person. That's all it felt like. So, and then I didn't connect the dots that the whole thing was like a way to
Rob you.
or yeah, a way to juice me out of $20. What
Fucking
you
Rob.
know, the easy way or the hard way?
She got it the easy way. So
Yeah,
you
she
just
got it
gave
the
her,
easiest way
you,
possible.
So after driving her around, you paid her $20.
She asked me when we stopped at the Bambi Motel. She was like, "Hey, can I have $20?" And I was like, "Or can I have some money?" And I opened my wallet and there was only a 20, and I was like, "Fuck!" So I gave her money. And then I realized later driving home, I was like, "Oh, I just like basically paid a sex worker to just sit in my car as I drove her around. Like that's my kink. That's my weird."
You just bust, and that's when you busted.
Yeah, on the drive home immediately at that realization. So yeah,
You're basically a taxi driver.
yeah, yeah, basically. But a taxi driver that gives the passenger money at the end.
If you had your own taxi cab, what number would be on your taxi cab?
I mean, 69 is already taken by Ernest, so can't pick that one.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, Ernest in our Ernest Saves Christmas, he drive his taxi cab. And his glove, people talk a lot about the glove box shot where he opens his glove box and there's a bumper sticker that says "Keep Christ in Christmas." But to me, the thing that stands out the most is that his taxi cab number is 69, and they show it a lot. So that's pretty cool. I mean, yeah. What did the like? What a who is that? The people who are appreciating the "Keep Christ in Christmas" bumper sticker. Are they not? Are they seeing the 69 and just being like, "That's a nice, symmetrical looking number. Nothing weird about that."
Well, I think it's very true to that. Like, I mean, Ernest is a Florida guy in this movie. You know,
Oh, yeah.
he's Christian and he likes to swing. He's into 69ing.
Yeah,
He's
that is a
into
very
sex.
Florida guy thing. That's true. That's the twist of the Florida thing because it's the South. It's very,
But it's horny.
yeah, but it's horny. Exactly.
But the other thing is, you could say that it's not. He didn't give himself that cab number.
Sure. The man. Oh, you mean like the coastal elites gave him that? The bosses.
Well, no, he's at the cab co, and he just is given a cab.
Oh, well, sure, but that. What do you mean?
Well, I'm saying his character could be Christian. His character in his glove box. He could have a "Keep Christ in Christmas" pamphlet. He can be into Christmas, but it's not like he owns the cab. He works for a cab company.
Yeah, but he could.
So-
that could be his number, like 23 for Michael Jordan. He could be like, "Hey, can I be 69?" It's me,
Well-
Ernest, of course.
What was his number in Slam Dunk, Ernest?
Oh fuck, that's the question. Is he a cab? I don't think he's a cab. I think has a different job in every Ernest movie, actually. Because in the Ernest Goes to Camp, he's a janitor, I think, at the camp.
Yeah, he cleans the toilet and goes, "Ew."
Yeah. Basically, just so he can go. Ew.
Want to guess his number in Slam Dunk, Ernest?
Is it a cab? Is he a cab driver?
No, he's a fucking basketball
Oh,
player.
sure, yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying. What?
You thought he was a cab driver? Well, you made a Michael Jordan reference.
I get it. No, what is his number to Slam Dunk Ernest?
Guess.
69.
What would be a funny... No.
23? Is it 23?
No.
Okay.
I'll give you one more guess to guess a funny number.
1.
0.
Oh. That's like a trick question.
He's a 0.
Damn. That's cool. Yeah, there's a lot of Ernest movies. This is the crazy thing about Ernest Saves Christmas is that it's the second Ernest movie where he's like, I mean, I guess it gets pretty wild immediately after. I thought that Ernest Goes to Jail would be the second movie because it's still like based in some sort of reality, But it's like he goes to camp and then they immediately have him save Christmas right after that.
So you don't consider Dr. Otto and the Riddle of the Gloom Beam the first Ernest movie?
Fuck no.
Because it is.
Well, it's not an Ernest movie.
Yeah, it is.
He's like the protagonist in it.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, fair enough.
I did a lot of research into Ernest. So basically what happened is Jim Varney was a stand-up comic. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
He performed at the Comedy Store. He was a paid regular.
Oh, he was an LA comic?
Yeah, he knew he was friends with Robin Williams. You know, he would have been friends with Dave Letterman.
Was he
who I
friends
think
with
was
Freddie
at the
Mercury?
What is that in reference to?
Oh, I thought didn't him and Freddie Mercury have sex?
Possibly. I mean, Freddie Mercury, according to the movie Bohemian Rhapsody, fucked a lot of guys on tour. But yeah, so Jim Varney was a stand-up. He was on the Tonight Show with Carson, but didn't really. I think he only made one appearance.
Okay. He didn't get invited to
And
the couch.
I couldn't find the clip, but I'm assuming if he was only on once. And then in the early 80s, he made a commercial in Atlanta where he played this character Ernest. Now, the whole character of Ernest also is based on an Andy Griffith character.
Oh, okay. Which character?
I don't know, but there's like a town hillbilly named Ernest with a different last name.
In the Andy Griffith Show?
Yeah. So
Damn.
once he made this commercial and it did well, and him and the director of all the Ernest movies, John R. Cherry III,
Which is a really good name.
they just started doing all these local commercials in the South.
Mm-hmm.
And I watched a CBS clip on YouTube, like CBS News.
Mm-hmm.
At one point, he was doing 50 commercials a month.
As Ernest?
Yes. And they were all in that POV.
That's the
camera.
Vern. The Hey Vern is
Yeah.
Ernest format. Yeah.
Yeah, so he's always talking to Vern, and he's always like bungling up something.
Yeah, the idea of it is because there's a Vern scene in Ernest Saves Christmas. There may be a Vern scene in every Ernest movie, but
There's not. That's the only Vern scene in any Ernest
Oh
movie.
shit! Well, yeah, like the premise is that he's like just annoying the shit out of this guy Vern, and like making chaos and stuff. And Vern is just like, no, stop, you know.
But also, like, I think it's like that Southern manners thing of like, oh, he's our neighbor. We don't want to
Yeah.
be mean to him, so
Yeah.
we're just gonna like indulge him. But yeah, their first movie is Dr. Otto and the Riddle of the Gloom Beam, made in 1985, and it's a fully independent finance film. And after that movie, they then got a 4-picture deal with TriStar, which is the live-action department of Disney, or one of the
Touchstone.
live-action departments. Oh yeah, Touchstone.
Yeah.
And they did Ernest Goes to Camp, Ernest Saves Christmas, Ernest Goes to Jail, and then Ernest Scared Stupid. And Ernest Scared Stupid didn't really make a lot of money.
Yeah.
It was like $9 million budget, $14.5 million box office. And I feel like everybody saw it on video, but after that, Touchstone did not re-up.
Those bastards.
Also, like, I feel like Dr. Otto is a much more bizarre movie, much like a much more weird kind of movie. And
Did you see that?
I downloaded it. I watched a little bit of it, but it's pretty rough.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I remember the thing where he had the hand on his head.
Yeah, he plays multiple villains, multiple characters. Yeah, he plays Dr. Otto and Ernest.
Yeah. It's very like Southern humor. Fuck. I don't know. You didn't like
Yeah,
the
he's
movie.
it's Southern humor. But
Yeah.
when was the first time you saw this movie?
Oh, I don't know. When I was a kid,
I think I saw it in the movie theater.
Yeah,
and I don't think
probably.
I've watched it since.
probably.
You saw it in the theater in 1988?
Well, I was 3, I guess. Yeah, so maybe it was on video, but I definitely remember watching it every couple years, probably as I was a kid. I was
So when I was a kid,
yeah.
my on video, like Ernest Goes to Camp was a movie we rented all the time. We thought Ernest Goes to Camp was like
Yeah.
the coolest, funniest movie. My brother and I, and like we'd watch it over and over again.
Well, Ernest is kind of like a proto Jim Carrey almost. I feel like, or like his, because he's very like big and rubber facey. You know.
I'm sorry. Did you say Ernest is a copy of Jerry Lewis?
Oh, sure, sure. But well, I mean, I don't know, like whatever. Like when
Did you say Ernest is a copy of Curly from the Three Stooges?
no. Well, the Curly's not rubber faced.
Yeah, you're right. He's not rubber faced at all.
Anyway, I get why before Jim Carrey came around, this is this is the guy.
You know who is very similar to Ernest is Adam Sandler.
Interesting.
Like Hubie Halloween could be a fucking Ernest movie,
Oh shit. I haven't seen that.
or like The Waterboy. Like he's always playing like these retards.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, Ernest isn't retarded. He's Southern.
He's insane.
He's just like a redneck. That's the cornerstone of all like Southern humor is like rednecks being dumb. You know, it's all about being dumb.
I'm trying to think. I mean, it's a big part of it. I think like manners though is the big part of Southern humor. It's like somebody has manners, somebody doesn't.
Yeah.
Because isn't that like what the Andy Griffith Show is? Like he's smarter than everybody.
But the idea is like those Southern shit. It's like when there's a comedic character like Ernest or whatever, it's like, oh, this is like your dumb cousin. Like
Yeah, but there's always, but isn't there like an aspect of like the South, like, oh, you like are polite to the dumb guy?
sure, yeah, the South has that politeness and stuff. But I don't remember people being polite to Ernest.
But they tolerate him.
Sure, yeah, there's a lot of that. Yeah, that's
In the
like
commercial,
the Vern
he
shit.
just
Yeah.
yeah, he just comes up to the window and he's just like barging his way in. He's like, "Hey, Vern, look at this! I got mellow yellow.
Yeah, yeah. Like
It tastes better than
friendly and dumb is like the combo.
Mountain Dew."
Yeah.
That's what he says in the mellow yellow Vern.
I thought there was like a show or something too. It was just commercials and then movies.
Well, the show is called
Hey,
Hey
Vern,
Vern,
It's
It's Ernest.
Yeah.
And that was 1988 also. So I'm thinking like Ernest Saves Christmas is I think it's the worst of the Touchstone movies.
How could you say that?
And I think it's because he was busy making the show at the same time. Because this is absolutely the worst screenplay over Ernest Goes to Camp, Ernest Goes to Jail, and Ernest Scared Stupid. Like I thought Ernest Scared Stupid was the worst one, but Ernest Saves Christmas is fucking dog shit.
I don't know. It's a Christmas movie though. Christmas is like you have to. I don't know. I was watching it with Whit and my friend Reed, and and Reed was like, "This movie is actually really good." Well, like, why are people saying like this is like a good like movie, and it's like a good like like the movie moves very well. I would say there's a very
I
good
completely disagree.
there's a very good pace to this. No, and I think that it's fucked
No.
up that you don't appreciate well paced filmmaking. That you won't appreciate it.
This movie starts off well. I'd say like the first 20 minutes, half an hour is kind of moving. And then the minute that character Joe comes in, everything
man.
just slams. Everything just slams.
That
to
guy.
a stop.
We'll get to that guy.
And like, this movie is fucking terrible. So let's start at the beginning of the movie. The first thing that happens is we get this opening credits where it's a bunch of Norman Rockwell Santa Clauses.
Which, yeah, it has nothing
Coca-Cola.
to do with Ernest, but it's honestly, it's kind of a nice Christmas opening credits.
It's definitely Southern because Coke is huge
Oh, sure.
in Atlanta,
Yeah.
in the South and everything. But also it speaks to the movie's like soulless commercial
Yeah.
mindset. Like the movie is completely phoned in and is essentially a scam to take as much money from the Walt Disney Corporation as possible. Like, this screenplay was probably written in 2 weeks and is maybe half a draft.
Take that back.
There's almost no fucking screenplay. Like, there's no screenwriting. There's definitely no outlining.
Dude, what's so bad about the idea of Santa flying into the Orlando airport? And that's how the movie starts.
So, yeah, the first scene, this is how this dog shit movie starts. Santa Claus is exiting an airplane, and even though he is no longer on the airplane and has no reason to talk to this guy, he is now having a get-to-know-you conversation with a businessman. This is obviously a scene that should have taken place on the fucking airplane, but the movie is too shitty to even, I guess, film that.
Well, they wanted to really showcase the beautiful Orlando airport. So,
yeah. So this completely, I mean, it's like they immediately whiff the first scene. You don't get to know someone after the flight.
Yeah, totally.
You know, like, I just watched Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, which is a fucking perfect screenplay. I mean, it's obviously like a very sentimental movie, but that's a perfect screenplay. And this movie is just, it's like a turd circling a toilet bowl.
So Santa, I mean, agree to disagree, but
so you like this movie?
I think that this movie, it has enough stinkers or whatever to like not say like I could recommend it or anything like that. But I do think that I don't know. I think for a Southern comedy, it moves pretty well. I appreciated how much it moved.
What kind of qualification is that for a Southern comedy?
Well, this has like the humor, the sense of the humor of like a country music video that's like funny, quote unquote.
Like that one where the retarded kid can't finish the race by Garth Brooks. That video.
Yeah, yes, yeah, that's hilarious.
What the hell? What's a funny Southern country music video?
There's a genre of country music videos, usually by like the older, like fatter country music guys. When it's like a fun, cheeky song, they'll have a thing they'll have a music video that is like.
Can you give the audience an example of what you're talking about?
Fuck. Let me find one.
All right. If you think of one later, you can bring it up later. Okay. So anyway, okay. Santa Claus took a fucking airplane as opposed to riding in his sleigh. Okay. So Santa Claus gets off the plane. He's talking to this businessman. The businessman saying like a bunch of boring bullshit. So we're just listening to these two people get to know each other in a very boring scene. While Santa Claus is like knowingly and being like cheeky, he's like sending like Christmas vibes to all the little children.
Yeah, all the little kids are like staring at him like,
They know they can sense his like Christmas presents, and they're like, "Ooh, Santa Claus!" And there's like a little like sound effect when he like winks at him.
Yeah, boing.
That's not the sound effect. You do bring up a good point. He does come across like a pedophile, so there probably is a boing in his pants every time he sees a little kid.
Well, this scene is kind of like a reverse pedophile scene, where it's like an old man that every little kid is magnetically attracted to.
There's this movie from the 50s called The Girl Can't Help It, and she has like giant tits.
Okay.
And she's walking down the street, and like every guy is just like getting horny, like a Tex Avery cartoon, and they're just like freaking out whenever they see her. And that's basically how the kids look at Santa Claus.
Yeah.
So
like he just has huge juicy tits.
Just giant Santa balls.
Yeah.
And so Santa can't help it. He's getting all the kids riled up.
Yeah.
And then he goes to customs. And this is like, when I saw this scene with the customs, I was like, oh, this movie's going to like hold up. I was excited because I thought this was a fucking hilarious scene. Santa Claus shows the customs guy his passport, and it says Santa Claus, 151 years old, has like twinkles in his eyes.
That's what his passport says.
Yeah, I froze the frame. I read everything, and
Oh,
then
nice.
the guy like does a double take, like, okay, this is some bullshit, and he's like looking at Santa Claus.
Yeah. It also says he's from
And
Prussia.
yeah, he's Prussian, which is very
It's
funny.
a
And
very
then,
strange detail.
well, I guess he is originally German or something. So
Oh yeah.
is Prussia part of Germany? I don't fucking know. Anyway, he the customs agent is like, he like rolls his eye at Santa Claus, and then he looks at the line of people, and in line it's nothing but minorities.
I was thinking that too. It's literally
like,
just minorities. That's the only thing
just
that it's saying.
black people, Middle Eastern people, a Japanese woman,
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, and then he's just like, God, sometimes I hate this job. So there's a little of that Southern humor of yours.
Oh yeah.
because
Yeah. Well, that's the thing.
Let's
That's the
make-
other thing about Southern humor is like
it's racist.
it's like
Racist.
it's like very light and good natured and stuff, but it's completely within like yeah, any like of the quote unquote like others. They don't even like factor in at all. And it's just like they're treated like they're not a part of it at all.
There's just a black guy in line wearing sunglasses, and it's like, this fucking guy.
Like fuck my life.
Bullshit.
Can't believe I
Fuck.
gotta admit this black guy to Orlando.
A very diverse state,
Yeah.
Florida.
Yes.
So, but anyway, I thought that was funny because I was like, oh, this is definitely a joke for the adults in the audience.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And while it is racist, it is like, it is funny in a very mean way. And also, making the customs agent racist is, I'm totally okay with, because they're
Casually
racist.
racist, yeah.
So
Maybe
Then
that's like
Ernest
maybe that's a
shows up.
commentary about the government.
yeah,
Go
I
ahead.
mean, it's funny because it's the kind of thing that we both agree on, the left and the right.
Yeah.
The border agents are racist. So, cut to Ernest. He's driving a taxi cab, and he's rushing a guy to the airport, like a businessman.
Yeah. This is, by the way, shot outside. This is shot like on the the taxi scenes are shot on the Disney property because Disney World
Yeah.
is like a lot. There's a lot of like there's like actual like highway and shit in Disney World, and so that's all like this is all where this is like how you get between like hotels and like and into like the Magic Kingdom or whatever.
Yeah, this is the first movie shot at Disney Studios in Florida. I read that on the IMDb
Damn,
trivia.
That's beautiful trivia. That's good. That's good to know.
So Ernest is rushing this guy. It's really hard to tell what the hell happens. He's like cutting across lanes, and then for some reason the guy flies out of the taxi cab, and he's like frozen in fear.
Yeah, he's like scared stiff, scared stupid.
Yeah.
You might say.
And then Ernest throws him back in the cab, and then drives him to the airport, where he's going so fast he gets like 5 feet in the air and like slams into people's luggage, and like he's almost killing people. And this part, like some of the stuff of him as a taxi driver, I thought was very funny.
Yeah.
And he grabs the guy and literally throws his bags, which are open, like into the baggage receiver, like the conveyor belt, and then he throws the guy on the conveyor belt.
Classic. Just good old
And then he
slapstick.
just good slapstick, it's funny. Jim Varney, like, make no mistake, I think Jim Varney is like a great performer. I love his performance
Yeah.
when he's like being funny. So then
Sure.
he picks up Santa Claus.
Yeah, because there's
And-
he like slams into like these Japanese businessmen's like luggage, and there's some nice little racism, caricatures of more shit there. And
Yeah,
then
in the 80s, every Japanese movie, or every movie with a Japanese person, they had like glasses, a camera, and they were a businessman.
yeah, classic.
And it was just everyone just laughed at it, and no one gave two thoughts to it.
Yeah, the good old days. Oh my god.
So Santa Claus gets in Ernest's car, and Ernest is like, so, like, who are you? Like, what's going on, right? Mm-hmm. And he's like, I'm Santa Claus. Or, I don't know. He says he realizes he's Santa Claus, or he's like, oh, he thinks he's Santa Claus,
Oh yeah, he goes. Wait, what are you saying? What are you
or
asking?
he kind of brushes him off, like, okay, he thinks he's Santa Claus, but
Yeah,
whatever,
sure.
he's a nice old guy. And then,
You're not going to immediately
it-
believe an old man when he tells you he's Santa Claus.
correct. And so then the funniest scene in the movie happens, which is a truck full of Christmas trees drops one of the Christmas trees on the highway, and Ernest, who loves Christmas so much because he's like Forrest Gump.
Yeah,
he's
he's
like
like
a fucking
yeah.
he's like a magical Southern retard. He drives
That's a
his
perfect
he,
description of him.
he skids his car around him and around the Christmas tree, then like backs up on the freeway, goes in reverse. All the shitty like 80s unmarked stunt cars are like driving around him and crashing and
Yeah.
like spinning out of control.
Classic.
And Ernest then grabs the Christmas tree, throws it in the back of his taxi, like breaks the windows, and then the old man playing Santa Claus is just like, oh, it's nice to meet someone who's so into Christmas. And Ernest, like Forrest Gump, is just like, I love Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Durr.
Well, he's decorated his whole glove box in the Christmas spirit.
Keep the Christ in Christmas.
That's such a sweet little Easter egg.
It's not even an Easter egg. It's like there's a fucking
Close up of it.
50 millimeter lens
Yeah.
like 4 inches away from it.
Yeah, that's true.
It's shot like the box in Basic Instinct or Sharon Stone's box.
Yeah, the box.
It's just like, wait, did I see that?
Yeah,
And then like they cut to Santa Claus and he's like sweating like white night, and he's just like, oh,
yeah.
keep the Christ in Christmas.
What if
I
when
feel like that's like a dig at Disney. Like, hey, we snuck in a little Christianity, fucking secular pieces of shit.
yeah, this also has that weird southern what like a southern Christian move like team makes a movie, and it's all about like how much Hollywood sucks and like how much they hate everybody who makes movies and
Yes.
stuff. Yeah.
The elites.
Yeah, the elites.
Yeah, their depiction of Hollywood is
Well, we can
truly
we'll get to that.
heinous.
Yeah.
But so anyway, Ernest grabs a Christmas tree. He's like, Santa's like, you don't have a Christmas tree yet? And he's like, no, I'm giving it to my friend Vern.
Yeah.
So wait, how does where does he meet the teenage runaway?
Harmony Star?
Yeah.
Oh, she's she's like skipping out on a bill and at a restaurant, and she's just like jumps in his cab and is like, you
And Ernest-
gotta get me out of here.
And then they go and meet Joe at the TV station. 'Cause
Yeah.
Isn't Ernest taking Santa to? Oh, so she just flags down the cab while they're driving,
Yeah. And
she goes to the TV station too.
yeah, she just becomes part of their little crew.
I definitely feel like Ernest is the kind of guy that would have sex with like a 14-year-old teenage runaway.
The character Ernest?
Yeah, like a Southern guy like that who, like Ernest is kind of like a carny. He kind of has like carny vibe.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's like exactly what he is. He's a carny. But it's interesting to know the thing about the Freddie Mercury shit because, Jim Varney was married, never had any kids. But it's like if you think about Ernest as a gay man or like a bi character, he's way cooler as like a gay icon, I would say, than as just like a straight Southern idiot.
Yeah, but he's sexless like Forrest Gump.
Sure.
You can't be magical and have butt sex.
The first time you have butt sex, the magic goes away.
Yeah,
Good to know.
you have to be virgin.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. The virgin, the grown man is a virgin quality.
But yeah, like Pee-wee,
Yes.
he's a very sexless. He's he's for the children.
Yeah. I remember the most shocking thing about the Pee-wee, like, him getting caught jerking off and stuff, was his picture was like, he looked so not like Pee-wee. with
He looked creepy.
yeah, he had like the long hair and the goatee and shit. And you're like, what the fuck? Who's this fucking guy?
Well, it's also like really ironic because he had that look because he was playing a creepy vampire in Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Oh,
So they made him look like a creep, and then everybody saw him. They're like, "Oh my god, he's a creep."
maybe that role like ruined him the way like the Joker ruined Heath Ledger.
Well,
You know?
I mean, he's probably a pedophile in real life. Like, I'll just say, uh, allegedly, because he was arrested after Jeffrey Jones, and all these cops were like, he was arrested for child pornography.
Oh, Jeffrey Jones, Ferris Bueller's guy.
No, Paul Rubens. And he had child pornography in his house, and his excuse was, this is kitsch, nature, like nudie magazines from the 50s of like,
Oh,
but they're like full of naked children.
wait, I never heard about this Paul Rubens story. I've only heard about the porn theater.
People don't really bring it up because they want to like Pee-wee, but
Damn. There's like a whole conspiracy that's covering up his pedophilia, but it's just because people like Pee-wee.
Yeah, and he also like
That's the Q thing.
Well, this is legal child porn. It's like grandfathered in. It's like it's like nudie magazines from the 50s, like nudist colonies of, I guess that's like grandfathered in.
Yeah.
But
that's a bummer.
These are just rumors. I know nothing. Please don't sue me.
So Pee-wee, man, but Pee-wee's Big Adventure. God damn, that movie's so good.
Pee-wee's Big, yeah, exactly. And that's why I'm saying this movie fucking sucks, dude. Because just think about Touchstone Pictures Warner Brothers did Pee-wee's Big Adventure. So
yeah,
this is a very similar kind of situation.
But you liked the. I'm not saying again. You want to say what your Letterboxd is, but because I feel like it's a little low.
My Letterboxd score for this movie is 1.5 stars.
It's a little low.
I would give it a half a star, except for I really like the two taxi scenes with Pee-wee. Ernest.
Yeah.
I think those two scenes are funny, and I think the rest of the movie is just like a long, slow, sticky shit coming out of your ass. Like, it's a truly unpleasant experience. It's like you've been eating nothing but like microwave burritos for a week, and you drink like 4 ounces of water a day.
Okay,
and then you have to take a long hot shit in a porta potty because it just once they get Santa in the taxi, it just nothing interesting happens. It just goes so fucking slow. Like the B storyline of the reindeers arriving.
Yeah, those guys are in every Ernest movie too.
Those two idiot guys.
Yeah,
the fat guy and the skinny guy. Like they're just
skinny guy with no teeth.
There's like 8 scenes of that, and just so little happens. It's the kind of thing that should have been summed up in 2 scenes. It's like,
but that's like shitty Southern comedy, No,
I'm telling you, they are just doing a fucking scam on Disney to take as much money from the budget as possible and to do as little work as possible.
John R. Cherry III and Jim Varney.
Yeah,
that's pretty cynical, For
this is an extremely unambitious film.
Sure. Are the other Ernest movies more ambitious?
Ernest Goes to Camp has like so many more characters. Like John Vernon is the villain. You have the children who are the campers, and then you have the woman who teaches him like Native American magic.
Yeah, dude, I love how dark and gritty Ernest Goes to Camp gets.
Ernest gets his ass kicked.
Oh yeah, that's right. He does get his ass kicked. But the scene where
by the guy who plays Sloth.
Oh really? I didn't know that. That's a nice little trivia. But like the flashback scenes to like the native tribe or whatever, like their
rituals.
Yeah, their rituals. Like those are intense. They're like screaming at each other's faces, and the guy's gonna die and stuff.
Yeah, it's like they watched Billy Jack, and then they thought, let's just put Ernest in this.
Yeah, that movie has a good. The kids in that movie are pretty He's got a good like Bad News Bears sort of shady kids cast.
Yeah, and they have it's even shot with like anamorphic lenses.
Nice.
It's in like ultra widescreen.
Yeah.
It's a much better, more ambitious movie than this.
But Ernest Goes to Jail is a step up from this
Ernest Goes to Jail is the best Ernest movie.
because it's actually just like the funniest.
And the pen scene is the best thing Jim Varney ever did.
Of course, yeah, that scene is classic.
It's like a masterpiece of comedy.
Yeah,
And also his humanity and vulnerability really shine. And it's just like, it's the best thing he ever did.
did you cry when you saw Ernest Goes to Jail?
I did not cry, but I mean, I remember feeling so humiliated for him because I saw that in the theater also. And like, it just like wouldn't stop. And then the way the people in the court just kind of give him sideways glances, like very subtly. And they're just like looking at him. Like, I just feel so humiliated by like
the pen scene in particular you're talking about.
It's just an amazing scene.
Yeah.
And like, it reminds me of like when you have like a runny nose and you're just like trying not to like blow your nose and you just like, and you like you're at work or something and you're just like, oh, I keep having to get up and blow my nose. Like,
Yes, it's very relatable.
It's just an amazing scene. And also like the crooks are really funny. Like the black guy with like the Kid and Play hair and like the giant red suit he's wearing. He's like looking at Ernest like, yeah, we're going to use this guy. He looks just like my partner. And then the partner looks exactly like Ernest
Yes, of course.
with slick back hair.
Yeah, Ernest always has to fit in his other or Jim Varney always has to fit in his other characters in these movies.
Yeah, and it's very bizarre because is Ernest supposed to be a master of disguise? There's no explanation for how Ernest can then play another character who's smarter than him.
Right. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Where he's playing like the refined cultural like snobby guy later in this movie.
Yeah. So
It makes sense.
Ernest gets this. So they get this teenage runaway, Harmony Star.
Yeah.
They go to this TV station to meet this guy Joe, or it's like a preschool or some. No, they go to a museum.
Yeah. It's the Children's Museum.
And he's like volunteering there, and he has this song called "Please and Thank You" that's supposed to be like so popular, and all the kids love it.
Yeah. It's pretty shitty.
It's just complete garbage. So
I mean, the guy sucks. That's a big problem with this movie is that this Joe guy that Santa wants to like.
he stinks.
Yeah. Santa wants to find he has to find his new replacement for Santa
Yeah.
Claus. And
And the guy playing Santa Claus is good.
Yeah, he's got those flippy eyebrows that like bodybuilders have.
He played he's the voice of the fucking what's his face, the Emperor in Aladdin. The Sultan.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Also a character that has flippy eyebrows.
Yeah, he looks just like him. And so Santa Claus goes up to Joe and is like, I've been watching you.
The thing that's so stupid about this movie is like every time we're supposed to be like in awe of how good this guy is with kids and stuff like that. And so like they walk in to this children's museum and watch him putting on this puppet show. There's just some fucking stupid puppet show. This guy's an idiot, you know?
It's completely mediocre. And also Santa Claus is waiting until December 23rd to get his replacement. And
Yeah.
he has all fucking year to do it.
He's just a fuck up. That's like what
That's
you
very
don't know.
lazy screenwriting.
Yeah.
There's like they could have just said like Santa kept meeting people and they weren't good.
Yeah. Or like he had one guy that turned out to not, his heart wasn't true, you know?
But no, they just have they just have a contrived deadline.
I love when they,
ends.
I love when they, the first scene where you see this Joe guy doing this puppet show and he's supposed to be so great. And he's got these puppets above this like huge magnifying glass that he's standing in front of, and he's talking to this room full of kids, and the magnifying glass is in front of his crotch, and it's just like magnifying his crotch to this room full of kids, which is amazing.
Yeah, and he has like a very doughy body.
Oh yeah, he's in terrible shape. There's no way he could handle the arduous task of being Santa Claus.
He just looks very unhealthy and gross.
Yeah, yeah, he's got like a
Like
weird mole that needs to be checked out.
and his acting career, this guy Oliver Clark, it just went nowhere. And then by his last credit role was like 2003. The girl who plays the runaway, Noelle Parker, she was in one of those Amy Fisher TV movies.
Oh
She
damn,
played Amy Fisher.
she was really good.
She's she kind of has like a Punky Brewster kind of look and style to her.
She's a little, like I feel like she should have been in more stuff because she kind of has a Marissa Tomei quality.
Yeah, I mean, this is a very 80s cliched thing. It's like you always have like a runaway girl
Yeah, totally.
with you. Like in The Wizard, there's like a runaway girl.
Yeah, she's like very Jenny Lewis.
And she's like, wise beyond her years, but isn't a drug addict or prostitute like the way she should actually be.
Well, she's pissed because she became bad because one Christmas she wanted a baseball glove and Santa gave her a doll.
Oh, so she has like lesbian anger.
Yeah, that's her. That's like the story justification, I think, for why she went down the wrong path. But also, like, Santa's kind of a piece of shit, dude.
She wanted a dick, but she was born with a pussy.
Yeah, or she just wanted to be. She didn't want to be like all the other girls. And Santa was like, "No, you're a girl. This is what you play with."
You're a girl. This is what you play with. Or maybe Santa Claus doesn't really care about what he gives to girls, and he cares more about what he gives to boys.
Yeah.
That's my theory.
But yeah, so she became bad, and then she started going to restaurants and skipping out on
She runs away.
Yeah.
She didn't get what she wanted for Christmas, so she ran away.
Classic.
Makes sense. Anyway, so what happens? Santa Claus, he's hanging out with Joe. Ernest and the girl leave with Santa's sack, and then Joe's manager comes in.
I'm glad you, by the
Marty.
way, I'm glad you referred to his bag as Santa's sack, because the entire movie, people keep calling it his sack, and they say it over and over. So much of the movie is people talking about Santa's sack, like a little girl talking about Santa's sack.
But that's what it is.
I mean,
it's so you're trying. It's like his balls. Right?
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Well, that's the metaphor. Santa has a sack, and he gives everybody a gift, which is a load.
Yeah, Santa's just
And
busts a load and down the chimney
on Christmas Eve, and that's how babies are made.
Yeah.
So Marty, this like really high-powered, fast-talking agent guy.
His license plate says "big deals."
Yeah, he's trying to tell Joe, like, come on, man, you got to be in these Hollywood pictures.
He's got his sleeves pushed up. He's a slickster guy, and he has like a Forrest Whitaker eye. He's got like a weird eye.
He has a lazy eye. His eyes are bugging out.
One of the best. This movie actually, like, I feel like it's hard to follow the plot of this movie
because it's boring.
Because it sucks, but also because so much of the shots consist of like these just very bizarre looking people. And so you're just like, Jesus Christ, look at this guy's eye. And then you realize like an entire scene has gone by and that's like all plot shit you need to know. And you haven't been paying attention because you're just looking at his eye.
You're a goldfish. And you said this, that's like the same thing in Sallow. When I was trying to do like the intro for the episode and you're just like, yeah, but what about the president's lazy eye?
No, cross-eyed.
Like
he was cross-eyed.
Like you can't handle, you're like a child. Like you see a guy with like one leg and you're just like in the restaurant, like slapping everyone on the arm. Like, look, that guy has one leg.
No, I would never do that. That's rude. But if I'm trying to watch a movie and you got a lazy eye, like, come on, you're setting me up for failure.
The reason why you're zoning out is because the movie's so fucking boring. You'd rather look at the deformities of the cast.
Yeah. I mean, also like the guy has this like, his eye does some pretty magical shit in this movie where like, you're like, does this guy have a weird eye? And then you're like, I think it's okay. And then the next shot you see him and you're like, Jesus Christ.
This is me watching the movie. I'm just like, oh, that actor has a lazy eye. Now I'm listening to the fucking dialogue. I'm not a fucking idiot.
The eye just keeps like, it keeps heightening how crazy his eye looks.
You're like, I think this guy's a lazy eye, and the camera's just like zoomed in on his lazy eye, and you're like, I better watch the next scene to see if it's still lazy.
Yeah. And so this guy, the lazy eye Hollywood guy, the whole push and pull of this movie for this Joe character is that he's getting courted by these bigwig Hollywood types who want him to they're going to make him a big star. This like paunchy middle-aged guy. They think that he's like the next hot shit. And Santa's like, no, you're going to be Santa Claus.
Because he has his big song, Please and Thank You, that kids love. Which they would never love, because in 1988, everything for children is like completely jacked up, sugary crack, like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
No one gives a fuck about this, like, howdy doody motherfucker.
Yeah, when we were kids, I feel like the children's stuff that was marketed to us was like bad, like bad boy shit, like Bart Simpson and like Ninja Turtles and the Rebels,
Street Sharks.
Yeah, exactly. What are you saying? Please and thank you, because this fucking old middle-aged like loser with a weird mole like is telling us to. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Plus, it's like, where's Ernest? Ernest is not even like central to the plot of this movie. He's like a supporting character for the lead actor, Santa Claus, who's a fucking asshole.
Yeah. Man, imagine if they just picked like a guy who actually had that kind of undeniable charisma and like presence and stuff.
Yeah. Imagine if Ernest became fucking Santa Claus.
Oh shit. Now we're talking.
This is, where are the screenwriters? I looked them up and they didn't do anything else ever again.
Really?
Yeah. And one of them there were two screenwriters. One of them worked on some like shitty 80s exploitation movie.
That's cool.
And then that's it.
This is kind of it's kind of like how him not becoming Santa is kind of like in The Good Son, how they don't bring back the crossbow at the end.
Yeah, I mean it's just well, it'd be like in The Good Son if there was another kid that was evil and it wasn't even Macaulay Culkin.
It would be cool if at the end of this movie, Santa, for like the guy's Christmas wish, he fixed the guy's eye.
Oh, that'd been awesome.
Yeah.
He's like, I didn't ask for that. He's like, I did it anyway.
Yeah. My friend actually thought, I love to talk about my friend who was like, I don't know, why are people saying this movie's bad? This movie's really good. But he thought that the guy's eye was a glass eye. But I think we ultimately determined that it was like Forrest Whitaker, like Biggie Smalls shit.
It could be a glass eye. Who fucking cares? Who knows?
I gotta know. I gotta watch the commentary for this movie to find out.
Well, there is no commentary. And getting any information or behind-the-scenes info on these movies was not easy. The one thing I did find is that Ernest's nephew wrote an entire biography of his uncle.
That's cool.
And it's like really saccharine and sweet. And he's just like, I love my uncle.
Yeah.
He's like, you know him as Ernest, but to me, he was Uncle Jim.
Yeah.
And he's like, some things that people don't know about him. He drove a DeLorean.
Oh, that's cool.
He was into Civil War memorabilia. Or like Civil War history.
Where's Jim Varney from again? He's like a Southern guy, right?
Kentucky.
Of course. Yeah. So, it makes sense why, I guess, like, there are these little touches of conservative, conservative movies. Every time they fucking make a movie, it always has to be, like, about how that, like, other movies are wrong. They always have to make that, statement.
Well, there is that, the guys that made Airplane all became like really big conservative guys. They made that movie where Chris Farley's younger brother played Michael Moore and met like the three ghosts of American past and learned that being a liberal was wrong and he becomes conservative.
That sounds good.
Yeah, they just, because, the other thing is like liberals really do put a lot of stupid messaging in their fucking movies too.
Yeah, but I mean, like, there's a lot of liberal, because most of the movies are made by, in America, I guess, are made by like liberal leaning people, but it's like not like every fucking movie they make has like a comment about it. You know what I mean? It's just
Well,
like most of them are apolitical.
I think what you're also kind of getting into is like conservative comedians are more critical because like John Hughes is a huge Republican guy. Like,
Oh, really?
his movies don't have any messaging in them. John Milius, of course, conservative screenwriter.
What did he do?
He's not talking about other movies, but he's
what did
just
that guy do?
like, what did John Milius write?
Yeah.
He wrote The Big Wednesday. He
Oh my God, The Big Wednesday. How could I have not known that?
Red Dawn.
Oh, right, yeah, that's why it sounds familiar.
The character of Walter Schobach from Big Lebowski is based on him. He's like, he wrote the monologue in Jaws, the famous monologue.
Interesting. That's cool.
He wrote Conan. I think he directed it. Did he direct Conan? He's a great screenwriter, but he's not into all this bullshit. But conservative comedies, yeah, they fucking suck.
Yeah.
And same thing with the liberal comedies. Any movie with a message is fucking dog
Well,
shit.
yeah, I mean comedy for especially, unless I guess you're like satirizing something or whatever, but like otherwise, like you're just making yourself seem not funny by doing that either way.
Yeah, I mean, if Doctor Strangelove suddenly had like a Democrat show up and be like, these conservative Republicans.
Yeah, that would be so good. That would make it so much better. People would be like, "Yeah,
So,
woo!" This movie's
blah
for
blah
us.
blah. Ernest gets Santa Claus's sack with the girl,
Yeah,
and
he forgets his sack, I guess, in Ernest's cab.
yeah, which happens. You know, you forget your luggage in a taxi cab.
Oh, of course, yeah, sure.
So Santa forgets his sack. The guy with the bug eye, the agent, he's so sick of Santa Claus, he's so annoyed with him, he calls the cops on him and they arrest him.
Yeah, with due cause.
And then
Is that the phrase?
with Jew cause,
That's what
you
I
know what
meant.
I'm saying?
Yeah, totally.
So Ernest tries to give Vern a Christmas tree. Vern is like, fuck off.
The Vern scene in this movie is really good.
Yeah.
It's it's crazy that there's only one Vern, or this is the only movie that has a Vern scene, because that was like the most inventive and like,
Yeah. Well, that's the central sketch of the entire concept of the character is the POV commercial, Ernest trying to give you something you don't want. And they only did it once. So yeah, it's a real missed opportunity. Every Ernest movie should have a POV scene with Vern.
it's an it's a legitimately impressive scene, like where, because it's like a long take, it's them to the camera, performance is really good. There's like a production value, like hijinks in it and stuff.
It's like a Gaspar Noé film.
Yes.
It's all POV.
It's a lot like that scene in
You're
Irreversible.
like- It's a lot like it's like Enter the Void. You don't know how they did it.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, wow, this is amazing. Look at the way Ernest pulls a cable, and it goes up and along the wall.
And he can he like pulls up and the lamp up and down. Good stuff.
It's probably the most impressive scene because it took more than 5 minutes to plan.
That might be it.
So after that, Ernest finds the sack in his tax seat. He's like, he looks inside, and then there's a fucking Martin Scorsese push on his face as like a glowing light shoots up like Pulp Fiction over Ernest's face, and then he looks up and says, "He's him." And there's like magical twinkly noises and
Well, look,
Ernest-
any movie that deals with Santa has this kind of stupid shit in it, but that's why I think that maybe your rating is a little.
well, I'm just making fun of the scene, but yeah, I mean, Santa Claus the movie, Santa Claus, the Christmas Chronicles, you know, there's always this shit.
Always
Santa's
this
magical.
shit. Yeah, so he realizes that it's him. Meanwhile,
Well, it's late at night, so then he's got to take that girl back to his place, and it's not shown on camera, but I assume he has a very disturbing very nasty Roman Polanski style sex with her
Yeah.
all over his filthy apartment.
That was a deleted scene.
There's in his house is like a pedophile fucking honey trap. Like there's toys everywhere, and there's like it's like what's that goddamn children's story? Hansel and Gretel. Like he
Yeah.
has like it's all decorated to get the attention of children.
Right.
It does kind of look like he's a weird southern gay man.
Yeah. See?
You know, like he's decorating. Look, Ernest, if Ernest is bisexual or Jim Varney's bisexual, that's totally believable. But
Well, he's like, to me, he really gives me the vibe of like an old school gay guy, like because he's like a chain smoker and shit, and like I don't know, he just has that like vibe about it to me, like that he just seems
Well,
like
he's
an older gay.
he's in the arts.
Yeah,
he's
exactly.
in the arts.
Older gay artist.
There's a great YouTube video you got to watch of Robin Williams and Jim Varney together doing improv behind, like on set.
Oh, really?
And like Robin Williams is like so cocky, and his improv is just fucking terrible. Like his characters, and like he does this one really long rant that goes nowhere, and then it's like very awkward, and then Jim Varney starts doing like a stupid broad character, like a dumb woman character or something. He's like, or like an ant, like a hen, like
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Like the old lady with the fucking
well,
neck
he's not
brace.
doing that like the old lady, like the deep voice. He's doing like a fast talking old lady.
Okay, that's range, dude.
And then Robin Williams immediately picks up on it, and then he starts doing it.
That sounds funny.
And
Remember how Robin Williams would like do improv shows with people before he died, or like randomly in LA, like just random teams?
yeah, I mean,
It'd be cool.
he didn't do any stand up, but he would do improv.
He started doing improv, yeah.
He would just
Yeah.
I mean, he would just bomb if he did stand up.
No way.
I mean, even though he was like really good at the, I guess he did. I mean, there's that one late '90s HBO special he did, but I feel like that's the last stand up he did.
Oh yeah, I remember my girlfriend in high school like thought that was like the funniest thing she's ever seen.
Or he'd do comic relief. There's like some bits on that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. He's a San Francisco guy, and I don't know any stories of him doing stand up in San Francisco after he started. So I don't know. I don't know where he did comedy, but yeah, when we were doing UCB improv, he dropped in on
He did some IO stuff too.
yeah, he
He just
dropped
really
in
did not give a
randomly.
shit if anybody was there. So Santa. So what's going on right now in this movie is that Jim Varney and this teenage girl.
Oh, yeah, they fucked.
They're fucking at Jim Varney's house with Santa's sack,
And he makes her breakfast the next day.
yeah, it's thoughtful. I'd like to see Roman Polanski do that. You know.
Yeah, Roman Polanski did not make the girl breakfast. He just dropped her off at her parents' home and was like, "Don't tell anyone I did that."
That's a pretty good Roman Polanski. And so that happened. While that's happening, Santa's getting booked by the cops who are detaining him, I guess, because they don't believe his story about being Santa, of course.
And he has snowflake fingerprints.
It's almost like he shouldn't have flown in to the airport like a normal person and tried to do it when, I mean, he like should have just flown his reindeer to the guy and been like, "See, I'm Santa. You want to be Santa?" And the movie's over.
Yeah, he's just not smart about any of this. So that he's in jail, and all the tough guys end up liking him. They think he's cool. They like sing Christmas carols with him.
That scene is pretty good, I feel like. The scene, like, that's like a funny little quick scene that's done. I don't know. That seems pretty good.
It's very 80s. It's very 80s.
It's stupid,
I mean,
but
at
it's
least
good.
it has an idea behind it.
Yeah.
You know, we're not watching Joe and his agent just prattle on. So then Ernest finds out he's in jail. He comes up with a plan to get him out. And instead of just... It's so fucking annoying because it's Christmas Eve that morning. The night, like when Santa was getting booked, the guy was like, "You'll be out on the street in a couple of days, no big deal." But because Santa waited so fucking long
Right. It's
to
a big
recruit Joe,
crisis.
and he can't deliver presents that night, Santa, because his magic is running out, and if he doesn't recruit Joe, then Santa Claus, the entire mythos,
It like
dies.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I mean, yeah, he was just, he had shit to do before the 23rd. That's what I would have. That's kind of the situation I feel like I would get into if I was Santa.
he could have
I'd be like,
driven
"Fuck."
from the North Pole and been there, and like on December 26th, and been in Florida 8 days later.
Yeah.
But anyway, Ernest, this is a weird thing Ernest does. Like he plays another character.
Yeah.
He
yeah.
plays like a person working for the governor, and then the girl is supposed to be the governor's niece, and she's all dressed up like a schoolgirl.
Yeah, there's kind of creepy vibes in that scene.
Yeah, and they go into the jail. They push their way in there, but with a lot of fast talk, and they get the guard to release Santa Claus.
By tricking them into thinking that it's like, yeah, that they have the orders from the governor or something like that.
He basically says, "Do you want me to tell the governor?" And they're like, "Oh, we better do what he says."
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense.
We better do what this fucking idiot says.
It's a credible threat, sort of threat to receive if you were in charge of guarding prisoners. I felt really bad that that Jim Varney and the Harmony Star had to do that shitty scene in front of all those cool-looking tough guys.
Why?
Because I don't know, they're like tough, cool jail guys, and they had to do this bad scene that wasn't funny.
You mean the actors?
Yeah,
The extras?
yeah.
Do you think the extras were cooler than the lead characters?
I mean, they were pretty cool looking. The '80s also had like there were a lot of there's a lot of scenes from the '80s of like of jail cell full of guys, and all those guys are always awesome looking.
Yeah, like
Nerds 2,
they're always.
Revenge of the Nerds 2 has one.
I'm surprised in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles they never go to jail,
Yeah,
but they definitely hang out with. He definitely slums it around some working class Joes.
yeah,
There's a lot of that in movies where it's like you go to jail, then you get bailed out or taken out the next day.
of course, yeah.
My friend just got 2 months in sentenced to like Santa Clarita,
Damn, for what?
and I mean there are allegations that he might have cut off a man's ear,
Okay.
which is called mayhem. So when you remove a body part of a person, that's the charge is mayhem.
Fuck. Who is this guy?
So he's a listener. So
Nice. Hey man, thanks for listening, dude. He's like our
But
only
I was talking
listener,
to-
probably.
I was talking to him like, yeah, it's so weird. You never see anyone go to jail for like 2 months in a movie. It's always one night or the whole movie's about them in jail.
Yeah, totally.
But anyway, they get Santa. Then they go back to see Joe. Now Joe's on set of his big Hollywood movie.
Yeah. And
Okay.
and like he's doing like the screen test with these little kids, and the director and like the producers are like watching him like in awe of how
They're like, "There's
fucking
Joe."
good this shitty middle-aged guy is with some stupid
But-
kids.
They're also mocking the director, like he's very dumb, and his assistant is the one who's telling him everything.
Of course. Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's that whole storyline, it's all like Hollywood is bad and stupid.
But we're smart, we're cool.
Yeah.
And so Joe's like, he's like, is he playing Santa? Yeah. And there's kids around him, and he's giving them all presents. And then he's in a cabin, and then there's like a knock on the door, and he opens the door, and it's a monster. It's like a sea monster from like a 60s movie or like a 50s movie.
Mm-hmm.
And he has to yell, like, he picks up a gun. And he's like, you son of a.
Yeah.
I can't say it. And they're like, he can't say bitch.
Yeah. It's cool.
And it's funny to hinge your entire character conflict in a children's movie over whether or not he'll say bitch.
Yeah, the word bitch. Specifically. He would say fuck or something like that, but
I can't say bitch.
yeah. I mean, that's
know.
good. Maybe he was an early woke ally.
Oh, we got to talk about how they even snuck into the movie set. So Ernest
Yeah.
is now pretending to be a snake handler, and he's doing this full Southern swamp character.
Yeah.
And it's like, is Ernest doing this character?
Yeah, Ernest is like a genius impressionist.
Right. Which doesn't make any sense.
He's also the old lady. He goes to the talent agency as the old lady, and
Like Jim Varney does a lot of characters. Jim Varney's an actor.
right.
Ernest is also a character actor.
Yeah, yeah,
So while Ernest is dressed up as a snake handler,
right,
Santa Claus is trying to get Joe,
right.
and he's watching this like movie drama. No, Harmony Star is at home with Santa's sack,
Oh yeah.
and she's like, she keeps like making wishes.
Well, there's an orb. So yeah, there's like an orb in his sack that you reach in, and you pull out anything that you want or something. I don't really know how it works. She keeps pulling out stuff she doesn't want.
Well, I think it's implied that there's many orbs in the sack.
Oh, okay.
So she's not just pulling out.
Look, I'm,
It's a very large, bulbous sack,
yeah,
and she pulls out one
Santa's
like
sack.
it looks like they look like the orbs from Neverending Story 2.
I don't know if I saw that second one.
We might have a future podcast episode.
Oh dear.
Neverending Story 3 is my favorite of the sequels, but
Nice.
Jonathan Brandis
R.I.P.
is a pretty good R.I.P.
Dude.
Do
He's.
you think Ernest or Pee-wee molested him?
Oh, did he kill himself because he got molested? Do you think?
No. He just killed himself at 21 years old.
Damn, bro.
Yeah.
Those bastards. How could they? He was the most pure.
They saw ladybugs and just couldn't handle themselves.
I always remember him from Sequest. He was the dolphin talking kid.
Yeah. Sidekicks.
Oh yeah, sidekicks, of course. Yeah. So the snake handler thing, that's a very southern character guy. That's like if you're like in the South, like that sort of shit tickles you so much more than I feel like if you're not, because you're like, oh, that's us, you know, like oh, we're such rednecks. Like people, like
Yeah.
Southern people love those jokes.
You still think this is a good movie?
I think that I appreciated the craft. Let's just leave it at that.
Of what? Of what?
The pacing of the movie, you know?
It sounds like you just like the local references.
No. I think I can.
This movie is not well paced.
Look, you're a coastal elite, okay? With our movies aren't for you.
You live on you're from the coast. Orlando's the East Coast.
Orlando's Central Florida, and I'm not from Orlando. I would never
Where are
be
you
from
from?
Orlando. Orlando sucks. I'm from Tampa Bay. But
So
coastal,
that's on the east.
that's the South.
On the
That's the South doesn't count in terms of coastal
Gulf.
elites. That's just for you, West Coast and then Northeast. That's what the coastal elites are referring to.
you just like any movie you saw as a child.
No, I think that this movie, like, it moves from this seems like a stupid, trite thing to talk about, but it makes the movie, like, a lot of movies don't just, like, keep the pace going and stuff, as well as this movie.
So you think like when they go to the storage room or whatever, like the freight room of the airport, and they keep cutting back to the reindeers over and over and over again, you think that's moving really fast?
Yeah.
Because it's not. It's just a very repetitive, boring B storyline.
That's just because you're a coastal elite.
And what movie did you tell me this week sucked on text?
Oh, I don't remember what.
Midnight Run?
Oh, yeah. Well, this is a kid's movie, though, and it's a Christmas movie, so I feel like you watch it with a different lens. But Midnight Run is like for a grown-up, like for grown men, and it's not funny, and the soundtrack sucks.
Do you think it's well paced?
I don't know. I gave this
Yeah.
the same amount of stars as Midnight Run.
That's, I mean, that's pathetic.
Well, that's how I feel. And there's no metric for figuring out
There's
who
no
is
way
more right,
these-
you or me.
Those two movies are not on the same level.
Well, I mean, that's the challenge of, rating every type of movie together in the same rating system, I think, is that you.
It sounds like you just don't have an opinion if you think those movies are on the same. If you give them the same recommendation, then you just don't. You're just not making.
Well, for what what they
You're not
are.
making a decision.
For what they are, like for a Christmas family movie, you know, I would give this the same amount of recommendation for somebody who's like, I want to watch a funny buddy cop movie. It's like it's almost something, but it's not really.
So you like Ernest, but you don't like Midnight Run.
I don't like Midnight Run.
But you gave him the same rating.
I like.
You see what I'm like? What do you? Just make a decision.
Well, I'm trying to be. I don't fucking know. Who cares?
What the fuck?
Nobody cares about this.
No, this is like I know who our audience is. Like I have friends who listen to the podcast. Like
Our audience is all people who have allegedly committed mayhem.
half our audience.
Yeah.
The other half of my audience, this is for. They're very intrigued by you
Oh, great.
because they don't know you. So they're like, "Who is this Adam guy?"
Who is this genius?
One of my friends said you sounded like someone. Like you'd be the worst person to have a conversation with at a party
Oh, no.
because of your dog shit movie takes.
Sometimes my takes are not dog shit, I would say.
I mean, it's just ridiculous that you think Ernest Saves Christmas is well paced when it's.
I'm telling you,
Completely
man, the
fucking
way they go back and forth between the scenes with the guy with the weird eye and
Or the three, they go back and like while we go quickly over the plot, like they're just going back and forth. Like the girl is like taking so many toys out of the bag and
yeah.
blah blah blah. Anyway, Santa Claus cannot convince Joe.
Yeah. I mean, Joe's being such a fucking wishy-washy, like, shithead. It's like you don't even like him.
Well, he wants to get paid. I mean, he's being polite to Santa. He's like humoring him, but he's like, "Look, I don't fucking believe you."
Oh, right, sure, yeah, he doesn't believe him.
Santa Claus tries to bring him his sack, and it's the wrong sack because the girl stole it because she's trying to take all the toys. So
Yeah.
he can't convince Joe, and Joe's like, "Look, you're a fucking crazy idiot. I'm not gonna quit my movie career."
Yeah. Well, he's getting buttered
pretend to
up
be Santa
by
Claus.
the coastal elites. They're really buttering him up.
What city do you live in?
Right now, I live in Laguna Beach,
Okay.
California, baby. The coast.
Yeah.
For elites.
Yeah. So you're a coastal elite, you dumb asshole.
I know. Oh, I'm saying that this is what the movie is saying.
Whatever. So
I'm not pro whatever this movie is doing all the time.
two fucking midgets show up off the airplane and they go through the border patrol.
Those are incredible little people.
Yeah.
They're very old.
recognize them. I recognize them from other 80s shit.
Yeah.
So they, the custom agent is just like, oh boy, here we go. Two little freaks. And then they show up with the reindeer and they're like, these are our reindeer.
Yeah.
It's for like, it's like the reindeer are for Santa's helpers.
Yeah. I have a question for you.
What?
Do you like the fat guy and the
Bobby?
yeah.
I like them in Ernest Goes to Camp. I don't like them in this movie.
Do you know what the fat guy's name is?
No.
You might want to look it up and then say it out loud.
Gaylord Sartain.
Yeah.
He's a good actor. I mean, he's in other stuff.
He's in a bunch of shit, yeah. But man, what a name. Gaylord.
He's in the Hollywood Knights, bro. He's the cop.
What's the Hollywood Knights?
You stupid asshole. You never seen the Hollywood Knights with Tony Danza and Robert Wool?
No. But damn, it sounds good.
It's like a Porky's American Graffiti kind of.
Oh,
It's
cool.
more of an American Graffiti kind of movie,
Yeah,
but they had a lot of sex jokes, and Robert Wool is constantly trying to fuck the whole movie.
that's cool. That sounds good.
But yeah,
Anyway,
so
yeah,
the fucking midgets, they get Santa sleigh going.
I don't think they're elves. I think they're just regular.
Yeah, Ernest is now like he gets. Why is he flying the sleigh?
Their feet can't reach it or something. Is that the idea?
Oh yeah, he's a taxi driver, right?
Right. See, this story's been very thought through. It makes a lot of sense.
So Joe is in a big. He's in the biggest building in Orlando. So it's like he's on the
The
fifth
biggest
floor.
building in Orlando.
Yeah, he's on the fifth floor of an
That's where
office
you could be,
park,
buddy.
and they're trying to sign a contract. And he's like, "I don't know. I don't like saying the bitch word. I mean, I'm already shooting the movie. Should I sign a contract?
Yeah.
I mean, I am shooting the fucking movie. I don't know if I should sign the contract. And if I sign the contract, then I can't be Santa Claus with the magical powers." And then he looks out the window. Here's some of that great screenwriting Adam likes.
Yeah.
He looks out the window and then he sees Ernest flying Santa's sleigh in complete mayhem. Like the worst shitty visual effect you've ever seen.
Like ear cutting mayhem.
Yeah. My friend, he did a live action version of Reservoir Dogs.
The Ernest Saves
Alright,
Christmas. Some guy.
So that he's like, oh, he's him. He's Santa. And they're like, who's Santa? What's going on?
Yeah.
And he's like, I gotta go. And then he leaves.
And the agent guy's like, but look at my eye.
Look at his bug eye just shoots out of his head like Evil Dead 2.
Yeah.
And then Santa runs downstairs, or Joe runs downstairs, sees Santa, and he gives him a handshake, and then all of his magic transfers to Joe.
Yes.
And his beard grows back. He's in the red Santa outfit. Ernest is flying the sleigh, and then he's got a, instead of landing,
They're like,
he's like crashing towards them, and then he stops at a vertical. He like floats vertically above them.
yeah, that's a pretty cool effect, special effect.
Yeah, real magical.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the crazy shit that Ernest is doing at the end is that he's just flying around the world a bunch of like really fast in a sleigh with the elves behind him.
Yeah, there's literally a shot of the entire planet, and there's like a light, like a shooting star of Ernest like spinning around the planet.
Yeah.
And this is what I'm just thinking, like Santa Claus flew a fucking airplane. I mean, Ernest could fly the sleigh. It takes no magical ability.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no reason for him to have taken this flight that set the entire plot of the movie in motion. And to go in disguise and like try to convince people that he's Santa but not show them any evidence when he's not like against doing that or anything. He's just like not doing it.
He's just unable to sell anyone on him.
He's trying to just do it through his own charisma.
So then, what? Joe gets in the fucking sleigh, and then everything's good. That's the end of the movie.
No, it rains or it snows in Orlando.
And then that businessman guy's like, "Oh, it's snowing."
Yeah, the guy from the beginning.
And he doesn't like do something nice because of it, right? He just is like happy.
Yeah, it just makes people happy.
It's not like he was about to close an orphanage, and now he's like, "Oh wait, Santa's real. I'm not going to close the orphanage."
Yeah, it's good. It's good storytelling. Also, like, I expected Santa, the new Santa, to like give Harmony Star a baseball glove or something that she actually wants, but then she doesn't. But she gets to ride on the sleigh, I guess. But yeah, that seemed like that would have been probably good for a good.
Let's keep the Christ in Christmas and not give any of these lesbians.
Yeah, it would have been cool if he
He's,
gave her like a Bible.
A new hymen.
Yeah. He reaches in the sack and pulls out a new hymen.
Man, this new vape I got is just tearing up my throat.
Damn, that sounds sick, dude.
It probably was on sale because it's poison.
Yeah, it's just like rat poison. So yeah, Santa, the stupid Joe, weird guy, gets in his stupid sleigh and he's gonna move to Prussia, I guess. And Ernest and Harmony Star get on the sleigh and they're gonna save Christmas, you know. And then they leave Santa and this old woman from the children's hospital, who I like this old lady actor, by the way.
She's in a lot of
Yeah,
stuff.
she's really good.
Her big movies, and she's in 16 Candles, and she's in one of the police academies. She's in Police Academy 4 is the old lady who joins.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I could see her being good in that.
And she's in Home Alone.
Of course, yes. That's where I remember her from, I guess. But yeah, so they leave. Santa and Ernest and Harmony fly off to do Christmas, and they leave Santa, and he's like, I'm a regular guy now. And then the movie basically ends with like Santa getting pussy.
Yeah, that's the first thing he does. He's just like, I'm going to get a shot, a beer, and some poontang.
Yeah.
Real nasty Florida gator puss.
Yeah. So it's a very nice happy ending. Oh, and then there's a little funny blackout scene with Gaylord and Bobby.
Yeah, he does this annoying thing where he like makes his eyes go back and forth.
Yeah.
Like that actor in Jacob's Ladder.
You said annoying, but you meant like cool and funny.
It just happens 3 times and it's not funny any of the times.
He's not like good enough at it. It's hard to do. Did you try to do it? Be honest.
Yes, I did try to do it.
I knew it. I knew it.
And you blink every time you make your eye do that.
What? I don't know.
When you look far to the far left, to the far right, it's like
that's not happening.
I feel like if you do it really fast, you start blinking. If you do it with your eyes open, you can't do it as fast.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is like it's like this guy's little like trick, funny little gag he can do that only he can do. But it's like
it's not funny.
It's not. You gotta like be a little bit. It's gotta be a little bit more wild. You gotta like Marty Feldman. You gotta have something like that level where your eyes are just like crazy. He's like moving them back. It just seems like something he practiced a lot and got like okay at.
It's half-assed like everything else in this fucking movie.
But that's very much like how like a country music video would end. I feel like one of like the funny ones, not like a Toby Keith song that's not about like how we should be in Iraq.
Is this your example that I told you to think of?
Yeah, I thought of a Toby Keith. I mean, I can't. If you give me 1 second, I'll try to find something.
You've had the whole episode.
Well, I wanted to be present, and I was. Boy, was I present.
So you still like this movie?
No, well, I mean, does 2.5 stars mean I like it?
You think it's average?
Yeah, I think it has some good qualities. I mean, I just watched some pretty shitty movies. I watched this movie. I watched The Hot Chick, and that's a worse movie than this movie, I would say. But also, it has its good parts. Hold on, I'm trying to find a funny good one. Or like, remember that song that was like by there was like who's the blue collar guy who's not Jeff Foxworthy, Bill Engvall. There's like a Bill Engvall song from one of his bits. Do you know what I'm talking about? It's called.
Is this the music video you're talking about?
There's a video called "Here's Your Sign," and it's based on a Bill Engvall bit where he's like, stupid people should have a sign that says I'm stupid, so you can like know, or something like that. And the verses are like Bill Engvall's the routine, and then the choruses are like Travis Tritt singing a pretty catchy song.
Well, I guess this is an example. So yeah, you can go on YouTube and look up Bill Engvall. Here's Your Sign.
Yeah.
Music video.
You could do that and thank me later.
So anyway, this movie is a piece of shit. I don't recommend it. If you have kids, I wouldn't show it to them. There's better Ernest movies. I would start with Ernest Goes to Camp. And
of
then
course.
Ernest Goes to Jail.
Of course. I agree.
Ernest Scared Stupid, and then maybe if they still want to watch more Ernest movies, but how could they?
I want to dedicate this episode to my grandma, who, rest in peace, who she loved Ernest. It was like the only thing that she liked.
Are you joking?
No.
Why didn't you bring this up earlier?
I don't know. I wasn't thinking. But she never thought anything was funny or anything like that, but she would fucking lose her shit whenever Ernest stuff would be on. And she was not from the southern side of my family. So that goes to show you that it does actually cross over the mainstream appeal.
Obviously it crosses over.
That's obvious.
Look, I like Jim Varney. I think he's very talented. But This movie, I just think, is very half-assed and phoned in by everybody involved. Like, I think it's just a scam for everybody to make a few $100,000.
Well, maybe they also were like toning the good, like parts that could have been better down and making, because it was like, oh, we're trying to make like a Christmas family movie, so they're making it kind of lamer, and then maybe that ultimately, made them be like, hey, we need to go hard, we need to be edgy.
Why are you defending them?
Who, John and Jim?
Yeah, like why? Who cares?
Well, I'm not defending. I'm more just like,
You're making up theoretical excuses based on nothing.
Yes. Yeah.
Nothing. Here's what I know about these people, and this is where my theory comes from.
Yeah.
I know they used to make 50 commercials a month for all sorts of horrible products,
with Jim.
They just want to make fucking money. They don't give a shit.
Well, of course. I mean, the director, his whole career basically was just all the Ernest movies.
And I just feel like if you're making that many commercials a month, you don't give like you're working on a movie, you're like, wow, this is taking up so much more time and effort than doing a bunch of commercials. So let's just get this done as fast as possible.
I mean, it's not as bad as that, I think. It's not like the Vern scene is, you could like that's a scene that they are not like phoning it in.
Yeah, there's 3 scenes where they don't phone it in. There's the really funny custom scene, the Christmas tree on the freeway scene, and then the Hey Vern scene.
I don't know if you can really count the custom scene if it's just like you think it's funny because it's
witty.
Oh, funny. His passport and shit. I thought you were just talking about how the guy.
No, I'm talking about the racism. I think the racism is funny.
Okay.
Like I think that's like a Mad Magazine joke. Like that was totally appropriate for the time.
Sure. I'll respect that. I respect your opinion on that.
So you like the movie? You think it's good?
I think it's amazing.
Why can't you just have a real opinion?
No, I think, well, like they, I mean, now we're just really in the weeds on this and not like, no, who gives a shit about what I actually think about this movie? But the scene where they break Santa out of jail, like, and he's like this snobby guy, like, obviously those scenes suck.
I think that's one of the better scenes. I think what sucks is the Santa Claus just rambling.
Yeah.
On a park bench to an old black man is a fucking boring scene. Or like,
that scene was
so
beautiful.
or like any scene in the bus terminal.
Yeah.
Or the train station is boring. Like there's so many boring scenes that don't have Ernest or something cool happening with Santa Claus. And I'm just like, where is Ernest? Why is this movie so fucking stupid?
Yeah. But during those scenes, you get to look at that guy's eye. And that's pretty good, I think. I recommend this movie just based on being able to watch what this guy's eye does during the movie. It's
just
pretty
imagining
wild.
You completely high. It's like, this movie's really fast paced. It's not because I'm just talking to my friend the entire time.
I definitely lost what was going on around like the hour mark, I would say, of this movie, where I'm like, he's doing all these characters and stuff. I'm like, what is happening in this movie right now?
That happens to you when you watch any movie, though.
No, it doesn't.
You tend to lose the plot.
I mean, there's that whole like thing about like, those exposition scenes need something to be just something like I think it Save the Cat is called The Pope in the Pool. So they need like, things going on because the exposition is like boring to hear. So yeah, I don't like exposition, if that's what you're saying.
And this movie is full of exposition scenes because it's terribly written.
But what about when the new Santa is really connecting with children? Isn't that sweet?
And they're like, see, he's very popular with children.
Yeah, he has framed photos of children all over his house. That's the kind of guy we need in Hollywood. It makes no sense why he's being courted by this big Hollywood thing for a horror movie. Like, why are they? That's like a funny little twist, I guess, for the movie, but it's like, why were they doing these like chemistry reads with these little kids and him before, so he can be like
Because
killed by
it's
a monster guy?
because it's lazy.
I mean, I guess maybe you never know. It could have been.
Well, maybe Jim Varney was approached to be in horror movies and slasher movies, and like we're gonna make an earnest horror movie, you know?
Yeah,
We're gonna do it on the cheap, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and it's gonna be a big hit. And he's like, "Nah, earnest is for the kids. We're not gonna do that.
yeah. That's a very
Earnest is for the children."
damn. This really is like such a like a classic Southern conflict, or like anytime you see a conservative movie, that's the fucking like I feel like it's like the devil.
That's not the. Well, that's not the.
We're right.
Well,
No, I know, but no, but that's the
Oh.
thing with that's the plot with. I mean, we're getting pretty bad. We should just
Well, it's kind of like
we should stop.
it's kind of like, isn't it kind of like Last Temptation of Christ? Like
Yes.
Joe is Christ, and then his agent is the devil, and he's like, you could get off that cross, you could have a life with Mary.
Yeah, yeah.
It would have been cool if Joe like did sign the contract, and you know Christmas went away, and then he was becoming more successful, but the world was becoming like a harsher place.
Dystopia.
And then he like, and then it like there's like a flash cut, and then he's back in the office, and he's like, "No."
Yeah,
That would have been cool.
yeah. That would have been awesome. The movie should have just ended with a slow zoom in on that guy's eye, and then there's like
It's like-
snowflakes in his. You see like snow falling in his eye, and that's how the movie ends. Just an idea.
I'm sorry. What are you talking about?
I'm just saying that a good ending for the movie would have been if we just got a real sweet zoom in on that guy's eye, and then there were snowflakes falling in it when you zoomed in.
Like it's isn't that literally the ending of Krampus?
Oh, I never saw it.
The house they zoom out, and the house is in a snow globe. I think that's what you're trying to say.
Yeah, but instead of a snow globe, it's that guy's eye.
We should have ended with Santa Claus blowing his brains out after he
Yeah,
had no purpose in his life.
yeah, that'd be cool. We should end this
Well,
podcast.
let me look at my
episode with us
notes and
blowing
see
our
if I had
brains out.
anything else I wanted to bring up.
Okay. He's got there's a little Easter bunny joke at the end. Classic.
Yeah.
I know.
It's so funny how that's literally how like so much of this is in Nightmare Before Christmas.
Just
Like,
picture that Ernest is a bi icon, and now think about how good the movie is.
why would that change how I feel about the movie?
I don't know. You're right. That movie's not good.
The movie sucks.
It's not so. It's not
what's
a
your
1.5.
new score
It's still 2.5. I'd stand by it more fervently than ever.
out of 5 or 10?
Out of 5. Comparing it to other family Christmas movies.
Santa Claus is better.
The Santa Claus, I agree.
Santa Claus the movie is better.
Yeah, with Tim Allen, right?
No, with Dudley Moore.
Oh, what? What are you talking about? You
I've
have
never
like,
even seen that movie.
who cares?
Santa Claus the movie's awesome, dude.
Why?
And that movie, they find out the food they give the reindeers makes them fly, so then they start selling candy canes, and it makes all the children fly in the sky. I remember Leonard Maltin gave it 1 star in his movie guide. It's a movie I liked when I was a kid.
Sure. I didn't watch old kids movies when I was a kid. I watched like
Well, it's from 1983. It's from 1985, so it was like new. It was like recent when I saw it.
I also think I liked, I didn't like straight Christmas movies. I liked funny shit.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, I had this on quite a bit at the old Bowers household.
So the only other Christmas movie you've seen is Santa Claus?
No, my family, we're a big Christmas Vacation family.
I'm more of a European Vacation kind of person.
Fair enough.
But really, I mean, Vacation is the funny one.
Christmas Vacation is very funny.
It's all right. It's better than this movie.
Also, you gotta Christmas movies really suck. And they're like, it's hard also when you get older to like get the Christmas spirit out of them. You're like, there is no Christmas spirit anymore. So those movies lose a little.
Well, yeah. One thing I was thinking about was like, I believed in Santa Claus when I was what, 4, and then by the
Loser.
time I was 5.5, I was already over it.
Oh,
Like
right.
it's a very short window to believe in Santa Claus.
I feel like my nephew's 7. I feel like he already doesn't, and I kind of have forgotten to even think about framing Christmas shit in that way. When I talk to him, I'm just like, oh yeah, we wrapped your presents. Yeah, Santa's dead. It's just me now.
It's just me now. There's no Santa. I killed him.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna get you your fucking presents.
It'd be cool if like goth kids and stuff and like people who are like God is dead. They should be like saying that about Santa. Like kids should like be writing in their notebooks in high school like Santa is dead.
Goth kids like Nightmare Before Christmas, so
I know they do. I like that movie. I just don't like musicals really, but otherwise, that movie's cool. But
that movie. I don't think they knew how big it was going to be because some of the lyrics are so like the rhymes are so crowbarred
oh yeah,
by Danny Elfman and like Tim Burton. Like they're just
they
like
phoned it in.
they're really like I gotta I can't think of an example, but like there's definitely some of the verses where they're just like it's like is this one draft?
Right. Damn. Well,
Yes.
after this movie, maybe I do believe in Santa again. I believe in magic.
Okay, let's wrap this up. So there's no Christmas, Santa's dead, and this movie sucks. That's my final
That about
thought.
covers it. Yeah, I mean, the thing I'm taking away most is the guy's eye and that scene where he was standing in front of the magnifying glass in front of a room full of kids,
And his
just showing them his bulge.
yeah, his like moose knuckle is all magnified.
Yeah, this if you want to see Santa's moose knuckle, this is the movie for you.
Yeah, that's all. That's it.
I hope that we fuck up the recording on this one, and I can't release it.